Beastmen are good now? It almost feels weird saying it, but I don't really have to ask the question, do I? It's safe to make that statement emphatically at this point. The Beastmen are good. Yeah, nice law. And today, in the snowy drifts of the Dark Prince's Golden Phallus, a Doombull Lord will face down the mighty Rakarth and his black dragon Brachus, while the Siren of Red Ruin slithers along. This is the last of my recorded battles from Early Access, and again, this was played before we knew Wargore chariots were pooping on kids left, right, and center. I'm not going to trash a fun battle just because we found out a unit was OP after the fact. My opponent in this one is Aura del Sakeo, controlling the ravenous hordes of Rakarth the Beastlord, who shall try and tame my beast, and more specifically, my Doombull, who is a barb knuckle boxer through and through. Covered in tattoos and dark runes, he has a dazed contact effect that lowers defense and speed, which is probably one of the better contact effects in the game, honestly. He has Mike Tyson combat steroids, and with those big-ass teeth, you can rest assured he'll bite off more than just your ears. Plus, he has the Hellfire Sword and an Unbreakable Potion. So yeah, he gets pretty damn hard, and if he gets stuck in a scary situation with Rakarth, I can make him stand his ground and trade evenly with a freaking Black Dragon. Super cool looking model, too. Look at those chains. Look at that gauntlet in his right fist. When he punches you, you are going to explode. He's joined by the Butchers of Kalkengard, naturally, a terror-causing regenerating minibus, some Razor Gore herd out on the flanks, very important unit for destroying dragons or Cold One Knights with their mass and armor piercing, bunch of Ungor Raiders, and an old friend come to join the new roster, the Feral Manticore, which opens up so many options for the Beastmen. They're such a good unit at their price point, just kind of a fire and forget missile strike for annoying the piss out of an enemy backline or for gooning important targets. On my other flank are the dreaded double Wargores on Tuskgore chariots, which as you've seen by now are dealing significantly more damage than they are supposed to be. Small spoiler, they don't do anything crazy in terms of damage in this game. They pretty much just make their costs back, but there is a weird moment with them that's worth analyzing when it happens. You probably won't see me bring them in any more of my own replays until they get fixed, just because I know they're broken now, but they might show up in someone else's if they send me something that's really crazy. Bit of a shame because they're really cool, and so are Tuskgores, but yeah, they're pretty strong at the moment. They can run into Blood Knights and kill off a unit if you only have like 2 of them just charging them from the front, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. On the other side of the Golden Monolith flies Brachus and Rakarth the Beastlord, wielding the Whip of Agony. I think the only dragon in the game that has innate bonus versus large other than maybe 1 or 2 of Emmerich's Pokemon. He's joined by the Siren of Red Ruin, who has a massive change in the Sons of the Fury patch. She can now fire in a looping arc over line of sight blockers. So if she has direct line of sight on infantry or cav, she'll fire normally with that hypersonic projectile. But if friendly infantry is in the way or a hill, she can fire over the top like a short-range mortar. Not super realistic, obviously, but it does make her a more attractive choice. As if monster girls could get any more attractive anyway. Anyway, we got Chillwind and Word of Pain on our resident sorceress, Dread Knights of the Ebon Claw, some Black Ark Corsairs, some more Dread Knights, and some Dark Riders Vanguard deployed at the back of the map. And as this battle gets underway, well, it's Brachus and it's Rakarth getting aggressive with a noxious, corrosive breath, and that will devastate some Ungor Spearmen. Now, normally, I'd say wait for a blob to develop, just shooting that into a single unit of Ungor. Not going to be that worth it, but against the Beastmen, battles tend to be very fast, and you usually don't get to use all of your breath attacks anyway, so getting one off early to clear out some chaff is not the worst thing in the world. Nice Chillwind, too, slowing down the front ranks, and the Siren of Red Ruin unleashing her hypersonic projectile. See, it still works the way it used to when she sees stuff, but now she can fire over the top in situations where she normally would not have been able to, which is a really good change for her. It means she'll be able to get a lot more value back. It means she'll get to fire a lot more, which I think we can all agree we'd like to see the Bloodwrack Medusa do some work, because she's not been an amazing unit for the Dark Elves, pretty much ever. I'd say my initial impressions on her were probably wrong. When I was using her in Early Access, I was pretty shocked at how amazing she was at clearing out infantry, and she is great for that, but as we know in the multiplayer meta, killing infantry is something that most units can do. Infantry isn't that great, so being able to kill even high-value infantry typically isn't anything crazy unique. There are lots of units in Mortal Empires that are capable of doing something similar. Brachus, the Beastlord, charging into the Ungor herd in the front ranks. He'll begin slaughtering them. Terror rout's imminent for many of the Bray herd units as they charge in. Dealing with Rakarth is going to be a problem. Even the Doombull and even the Butchers of Kalkengard do not want to get too close when the Whip of Agony and all his buffs are popped. He can get up close to 1,000 weapon strength, and the Tuskgore chariots, well, they're doing Tuskor Chariot things, but alongside 2 Feral Manticores, not surprising they're dealing that much burst damage. Probably dealt a little bit more than they should have. Chariots, if you have 2 of them on top of a single entity that has low armor and low defense like the Siren of Red Ruin, they should certainly win that fight. I would expect 2 Wargore Chariot SEMs to beat down a Bloodwrack Medusa without question. Simply from a cost perspective, I think that's reasonable, but it definitely happened way too quickly there, and it does seem like those impact hits are just proccing like a machine gun rather than at more regularly spaced intervals. The Siren will survive, and now the Wargores are being hunted by the Knights of the Ebon Claw. They'll try to make good on their escape, while the Doombull and the Butchers of Kalkengard deal with the Cold One Dread Knights up on top of this hill next to the Golden Monolith itself. Knights of the Ebon Claw closing in, and they are going to get a full surround off on that Wargore Chariot. Chillwind in the background. Razorgore Herd are waiting nearby, and this is the opportunity for them to strike. When the Dread Knights get a full surround off and they focus that much on a single entity, that's a perfect time for Razorgores to countercharge, and they are exceptional in that role for killing heavy cav or surrounding an SEM. Nice rear charge, nice hammer and anvil from the Dark Riders who were Vanguard deployed. They got that full surround off. They're going to tie down all the Ungor Raiders who now can't support firing into the heavy cav. And the Minibus moving away from the Dread Knights to deal with the Dark Riders, who they realize are an even bigger threat at the moment because of the great positioning from Aura del Sakeo. Full surround off on the Dark Riders now. There should be some tear routes coming in pretty soon. Knights of the Ebon Claw are being destroyed by that Razorgore Herd charge. It's hard to tell how much of that damage is from the Tuskor Chariots and how much of it is from the Razorgore, but both are apparently quite good at killing heavy cavalry right now, and the Knights of the Ebon Claw are just gone. They're dead. They're destroyed. And the backfields for both armies have switched. The Piggies have taken the Dark Elves rear, while the Dark Riders and Dread Knights on the hill overlooking the battle have taken the Beastmen from behind. Thardy would be pleased. Doombull popping all of his buffs right now. Hellfire Sword, Deadly Onslaught, and Barb Knuckle Boxing all procced. 81 melee attack, 800 plus weapon strength. He is hitting like a goddamn Mack truck right now. And he's backed up by the Butchers of Kalkengard, who are down to half HP. Quickly, Rakarth the Beastlord, despite his amazing stats and bonus versus large, will start dropping. He needs to get out of that fight. He cannot be fighting that minibus by himself. Ebon Claw Dread Knights breaking off, but the Helabroni and the Dark Elves have pushed to the center, and now Brachus has some bonus versus large in support. He has the Sorceress in support, and some Word of Pains could quickly shift that engagement in their favor, lowering the melee attack of anything he wants by 44. Nice shot, nice hypersonic projectile from the Siren of Red Ruin, charging forward, unleashing her baleful screams. That'll be a lot of terror routes in the Beastmen back line alongside the Dread Knights back there. Aura del Sakeo putting a lot of pressure on the Beastmen rear, and the Butchers of Kalkengard and the Doombull realizing they need to get out of that situation, but they dealt a tremendous amount of burst to Rakarth, who's down to about 1/3 health. Siren of Red Ruin is super duper dead. She has nowhere to go now. Even with the Dread Knights charging in to save her, it won't be enough. I think she will fall, and if not, she'll only escape with a sliver of HP. Breath attack coming in on the Feral Manticore that was on the ground, trying to get rid of these single entities. Not a horrible idea. Chariots doing what chariots are meant to do this time for once. Just going through Helabroni, slamming through the flank, leaving a trail of broken, bloodied, and battered corpses in their wake. And that is but a taste of the horrors the Dread Spears are about to experience. Let the blood greed flow. The Butchers will live up to their name and lofty reputation. And the Doombull wading in and doing some 1-2 combos like a boxer. Not kidding, they actually added some boxing animations for him, and those Helabroni will just disappear under the weight of this assault. Rakarth can't afford to land near that minibus at this point. He has too little HP, dealing with the Manticore in the background there. Just killed off one of those units who's routed him. Might be able to get the killing blow. But the Dread Knights tied down, they just rampaged. And the Black Dragon with so little HP, without support from the Siren of Red Ruin, it's going to be difficult for him to carry this game against 2 Tuskor Chariots, against a Doombull Lord, against the Butchers of Kalkengard. They can harass, they can cast some chill winds, they can deal some damage here, but pulling this one out will prove exceedingly difficult. I'm surprised the Helabroni are still alive. I'm not even sure how that's possible. The Doombull and the Minibus is saying the exact same thing, and they're going to finish the job for good this time. Time to go indeed. Y'all better get the hell out of there. Oh, it's just so brutal. And so satisfying. The Sorceress and Rakarth will link up alongside the rest of these Dread Spears. But that's pretty much all the Dark Elves have left. Breath attacks have not been incredible this game. Typically want to be casting those from right above a single entity if you're going to cast that. That's the Whip of Agony going down. That will allow Rakarth to go in and cause terror on these terror-causing units. But with Deadly Onslaught pops, Barb Knuckle Boxing, and the Hellfire Sword, again, Rakarth is going to get out-dueled. And the Doombull, just an absolute monster, man. When he's got everything proccing, when he's got his Unbreakable Potion popped, and he can't route, yeah, he just beats up a dragon. Very impressive showing from the Doombull Lord. Very exciting to see that in action. And overall, I'd say just a good counter Dark Elf type of build. It has a bit of everything. Now, again, that's not counting the fact that Wargore Chariots and Tuskgore Chariots are overperforming right now. They are too strong. They did deal kind of insane burst damage to the Knights of the Ebon Claw, but what surprised me about all that when we take a look at the damage values is that they didn't actually have crazy values on that front. I believe one got around like 900. Yeah, so 2,500 for the Doombull, 1,500 and 960 for the Tuskgore Chariot. So, yeah, they were pretty much around their own cost in terms of value. So, I think a lot of that damage dealt to the Knights of the Ebon Claw was from the Razorgore Herd and that countercharge. In fact, that the Knights got that full surround off and then weren't able to countercharge the Piggies and get them off their back. That was a big issue for them. But yeah, hopefully Creative Assembly can address those machine gun impact hits and allow them to burst down single entities and especially heavy cavalry, because nobody wants a repeat of what Noble Chariots used to be able to do. They were broken back then. This is the new broken thing. It's just not fun to see Chariots performing outside of their role. They should be good at what they do, and they are, but right now they're doing more than they're supposed to, so hopefully that can get fixed pretty quickly. Siren of Red Ruin and Rakarth were okay that game. Medusa got 700 damage value. Rakarth was actually awesome, but he needed some better breath attacks when stuff was tied down on the single entities, and certainly did not need to take that fight with the Minibus, and that's probably what lost them this game. GG to HDS, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.